I've always wanted to customize a retro handheld and make it just for me, a true TechDweeb retro handheld. And now I finally figured it out. Check this out. Oh, heck yeah. That's what I'm talking about. Oh, okay. Yeah, that's way better. Hey there, how you doing? I'm TechDweeb, welcome. Thanks for clicking on the video today. You and I and this guy know that one of the best things in life is retro handhelds. And one of the even better best things in life is customizing your retro handhelds. It's right up there with winning eating contests or the birth of your firstborn kid. Actually, it's even better than one of those things. If you're like me, like a slightly less cool version of me, you love retro handhelds more than anything, even Captain Crunch. And you also love expressing yourself, and there's no truer form of artistic expression than customizing retro handhelds. Nobody wants to be the boring guy with a default looking handheld at the retro handheld soiree. So it's good that you can do all sorts of things to customize them to make them both an expression of your unique personality and also just better. Today I'm going to make the ultimate TrimUI brick. I'm going to set it up with the best software. I'm going to add some fancy custom buttons and another thing that I'm excited to show you. But also this video is just going to be kind of a celebration of the TrimUI brick. I love this handheld so much. It's one of my favorites right now, and I want to show you what makes it great and how you can customize the experience to make it even better. But first, I want to mention that everything that I'm showing you today, this TrimUI brick and all the little customization things, this was all given to me by LitNXT, and you can buy this from them if you want it. There's a link in the description below. And what are those customizations? Well, I'm glad you asked, because I was just about to show you. Isn't that interesting? Yes, it is. First up, we have our operating system. I'm going to install Newly on this bad boy. The default operating system on the TrimUI brick is actually pretty good, and LitNXT sells a bundle where you can get this with the Crossmix SD card, which is an amazing system with amazing ROM sets. That's a great option if you don't want to tinker yourself. But I like to tinker, and I much prefer Newly as my operating system. For lots of reasons, which we'll talk about. Next up, we have the buttons. This is new. LitNXT now offers custom buttons for the TrimUI brick, and you can get these in a ton of different colors and finishes. They have some default color schemes on their site, but they'll actually do custom colors as well. I asked for orange, and they gave me that orange. And you might have noticed that I'm a little into orange. It's kind of a thing with me. However, they'll do pretty much any color combination that you want. I made a video a while back showing off their Miu Mini buttons when I made a BMO Miu Mini, and that was a heck ton of fun to make, and the buttons looked amazing. They were perfect for what I was going for there. So if you have an idea for what you can do with the colors in mind, you can probably achieve it with custom buttons. They'll do pretty much anything for you. My buddy Aiden Walls got some of these from LitNXT as well, and he did a Darkwing Duck TrimUI brick, and that was pretty cool too. And finally, the big reveal. I have something very cool to share. Check this out. LitNXT also does these custom backplates, and you can get whatever you want on them. I send them my TechDweeb logo, and they put that on this, and it turned out so good. This is a metal backplate. It actually might be the exact backplate from the brick. It feels exactly the same. I send them my logo as an SVG file, and they put it on there. This is laser engraved, so it's not going to get scratched off like a screen print or get scuffed up like a decal. This is the real deal. It's on there forever. And I don't know if you can tell on the video, but the quality on this is freaking outstanding. My TechDweeb logo has lots of small little areas with fine lines, and it totally nailed all those. Really crisp and high detail on this. I'm honestly super impressed at the quality here. And they also did me a white one for my white brick, but I'm not going to do that today on the video. I might make another video at some point because I definitely want to do more brick stuff, more brick content. It's one of my favorite devices right now, and it deserves more time in the spotlight. Maybe I can do some performance benchmarks or even just do a gaming showcase or something. Let me know in the comments what sort of TrimUI brick content that you'd like to see here in the future. So that's the plan. That's what we're gonna do. And now it's time that the prophecy shall be fulfilled. So let's do that stuff. First, we're gonna do the hardware. This is obviously important to do first because I gotta take this thing apart and to put the new buttons and stuff in there. And the process for this is, well, it's not hard, but it's finicky. There's nothing complicated about disassembling this. It comes apart in a straightforward manner, but there's lots of fiddly little bits like unplugging the various connectors and a ribbon cable for the display. The buttons themselves are pretty small, so you need to kind of work carefully with those and sometimes hold them in place while you put it back together. The backplate was the easy part. If you're doing a custom backplate, you can pretty much take the back off the device and swap the backplates and put it back together. That's easy, but the buttons are more involved. This took me like 10 minutes, so it's not the end of the world, but just be ready to get in there and do some of the fine work. I love this sort of thing. I think it's fun to tear down doodads and dig through the parts and see how they're put together, but if you don't, then you're not gonna love swapping these buttons. At least it's fairly safe and straightforward to do though, and it is so worth it because, are you ready for the big reveal? Well, I hope so, because here it comes, right after you click the subscribe button. Nice. Thanks, buddy. Oh my God. Look at that. Holy jeez, man. The TechDweeb Brick. I am in love, you guys. Orange and black, baby. Are you jealous? You should be super jealous. Oh, by the way, I will toss a link to the SVG file for my logo in the description below if you want this exact backplate. If you want to rock your TechDweeb brand loyalty to impress all the cute older ladies at the food bank, then feel free to download that and use it as your graphic file when you order the backplate. Oh, and also, by the way, I have a discount code. If you use the code TechDweeb, you can save 12% with free worldwide shipping. This video isn't sponsored, I promise. I know it sounds like I'm shilling for Lit NXT right now, and I guess I kind of am. Let's be real. They sent this to me and they asked me to show it in a video, but I wanted to give them a good shout out because they're my favorite store to work with. They are a bunch of genuinely nerdy guys, really enthusiastic about this hobby, and I can tell they care about offering fun products and engaging with the community and following upcoming releases and stuff. So check them out, link below if you want any retro doodad related stuff. Alright, so with that out of the way, let's get newly on this bad boy. And the process for this is super simple. I made a whole guide of how to do it, which I will link below. Basically, you just need an SD card of whatever size you want and download the Newly image, which I will also have linked below, flash it with Balena Etcher, and then boot the device with the SD card in there and it will automatically install. And then you're ready to add your games. The process for that is pretty simple, but it will depend on which storage method you go with. All of this is explained in the Newly guide, but if you're interested in what I'm going to do, the short version is that I'm going to make my own exFAT share partition using the disk management tool in Windows, and then after that, I'm going to boot the device again to populate the folders into that partition, and then I'm going to use my PC to copy over the games. And if you have Newly on a different device, you can actually grab your entire game collection, including all your game scraped art and metadata and favorites lists and stuff to copy over to the new device. That's what I do. I have my master game set on my main device, which is my Flip Zizzle. And when I have a new device, that's where I copy everything from. And yeah, there we go. I've got my games with my art and metadata and stuff. So the only thing left is arguably the most important part of any customization, which is the theme. So let's head to the theme browser and head to the bottom of the list. And yeah, you guessed it. We're going to get the TechDweeb theme. It's built into the Botocera theme browser, so you can get this on almost any emulation station-based device, including Android devices, which is so freaking cool. So this is it, dweebs and lady dweebs. I present the final form of the ultimate TechDweeb TrimUI Brick. Isn't it glorious? Yes, it is. This is one of the best parts about this hobby, how easy it is to customize our favorite doodads. Everything from all the operating system options that we have to the custom buttons and stuff like this freaking laser engraving. You can also paint these things. Did you know that? You can paint the shells or the buttons. And I made a video about painting your handhelds. That's how I made this orange and black Flip Zizzle. I love how many options that we have these days. And these retro doodads are getting so cheap that it's basically stress-free to be able to tinker around with them and do all sorts of stuff. Whenever I say cheap, I get people mad at me like, oh, that's not cheap, but it needs to be $20 to be cheap or whatever. But like compared to how much everything costs these days, in my opinion, the brick is cheap. This is $70 from Lit NXT with free worldwide shipping, so a flat $70. For what you get here with the brick, that's actually an outstanding value. The brick is probably the most premium device you can get at this price. It's small and super slim and pocket friendly, yet still comfortable. It's got an amazing build quality, tight controls, a slick modern aesthetic, and the best screen that you can find on a device this size. It's a 1024 by 768 screen, and at 3.2 inches, that's so many pixels to work with for integer scaling and shader options. It's got all the bells and whistles like Wi-Fi and Bluetooth. I'm just nuts about the brick for so many reasons. This isn't a review video or anything. I already made one of those, which you can find linked below if you want to watch that. This is more of a let's customize one of my favorite handhelds and gush about it kind of video, to be honest. The kinds of stuff I play on the brick really depends on where I am. I don't like to do deep, long, engaging, graphically impressive games when I'm ootin' a boot. I'll play those at home, on the couch, or in bed. And I love the brick around the house, but the best thing about the brick is that it's super portable. And when I'm out in the real world, I tend to prefer shorter, arcadey 16-bit era games. With Newly, it's easy to jump in and out of a game because it does the auto-save and auto-load thing. So I tend to have 4 to 5 simpler games on the go to play when I have a few minutes, and then maybe 1 or 2 longer, more in-depth games for longer sessions. Both game styles are great on the brick. It's a great device because it's like the best of both worlds. It has great battery life and controls and an awesome screen for the older retro games, and also some impressive horsepower for the higher end retro games. This thing just continues to impress me at what I can throw at it. N64, Dreamcast, Nintendo DS, and PSP. Not everything from those systems runs perfect, but a surprising amount does. It's more powerful than the Amberlic XX devices, and it's better built than those, and it's cheaper. And you can freaking customize the snot out of it with any color buttons and a laser engraved backplate. What more could you ask for? Other than a long and healthy, fulfilling life filled with love and belonging. But retro handhelds are the next best thing to that stuff. Anyways, that's it. That's all I have for you today. Customizing a brick, gushing about it. I hope you found this, I don't know, maybe helpful, maybe entertaining. Maybe you started the video because you saw the thumbnail and you were too lazy to turn it off. Regardless, you made it to the end of the video, so click the thumbs up button if you liked it, or don't if you didn't. And that's it from me. I'm TechDweeb, thanks for watching. Bye-bye.